Okay, so last but definitely not least, we get to Chapter 18. Now, Chapter 18 starts with President Harrison being elected. Now, he gave one of the longest inauguration speeches in the rain and then happened to die 4 weeks later. So, Tyler took over his position as president, John Tyler. He said he was a Whig, but he was really still a Democrat at heart, which is kind of why he butted heads with the Whig Party. Um, the Whigs quickly passed a law that to end the independent treasury system, and they offered the idea of a fiscal bank, which John Tyler vetoed, and then a fiscal corporation, which he also vetoed. His cabinet, all of them except Webster, who was in the middle of negotiations, resigned. So his whole cabinet left him, and his presidency was really just a failure for the Whigs. And he signed the tariff in 1842 and brought the country gradually out of the Depression, so that was good. During this time, Britain was at a war with America, with words though. These British people would come over to America and they would stick their aristocratic noses up and they would judge how America spit out tobacco and all the horrible things they do to the slaves. So then they go back over to Britain and write something bad about it in a magazine, and then America would do the same thing. So they're kind of having like an indirect tweet fight on Twitter. So something else that happened was America, was never quite peaceful with all nations, and there's the Aroostook War, which was kind of between lumberjacks of Maine and Canada in this unclaimed area, and it ended up that Maine, 7,000 square meters of or square miles of the land went to the U.S. and 5,000 went to Canada. Another issue still rising was Texas and how America did not want to annex Texas because of the slavery issue. Texas signed a lot of treaties with other nations for protection against Mexico because they were scared. Britain saw Texas as like a good trade thing because they had no taxes. So America finally wanted to make sure to snatch up Texas before someone else could. So in the campaign of 1844, Texas was kind of a big issue. So another thing was people were moving into Oregon, which at the time the U.S. still shared with Britain. And so finally we kind of moved up to the 54-40 line, which is where it is now. And there's still joint ownership. However, there are way more American settlers there than there were Britain settlers. So people kept moving west, and the idea of manifest destiny, which is that God gave us this land, like it was our God-given land, started going through the people, and we started moving west more and more. And at this time, James K. Polk won and became president in 1844.